Let's go through Michael's question here. Michael said, I think there's a possibility that there are foods which have 0 grams of synthesized protein. They might have 10 grams plus of effective protein due to containing amino acids or ingredients to form those amino acids. Is that the case? Michael, what foods are you talking about with synthesized proteins? Because that's not really something that I'm familiar with, and I think we might get in a little bit too far into the weeds, but I'm happy to try and navigate through there. And then anybody else, chance for you to get any of your questions answered immediately. I would be more than happy to talk with anybody that wants to talk.
Yeah, and I think we said this yesterday, but if you want to talk through any like John's whole hour is to talk through any personal things that if you are open to coming off camera or coming on camera of talking about like what you've been personally struggling with on your health and fitness journey, that this time is for you to ask that. So and don't try not to be afraid to speak your needs and come off camera. It could help somebody else. It helped somebody else yesterday. So just that out there.
Michael, you're saying maybe veggies or greens have stuff that allows you to make lots of protein more than the measured amounts might suggest. By make protein, do you mean like synthesize it within your body? I think the nutrition labels, yeah, I think the nutrition labels are pretty accurate there. I think it's important to add all of your protein sources, even if you're having some broccoli or some green beans or some fruit throughout the day. The protein will add up. When I was doing my little experiment of only eating fruit, like not even vegetables, just fruit for a week, I did log every day, and I got around like 5,000 calories, but I was still getting like 60 to 70 grams of protein just from fruit. So yes, in the sense like you should include fruits and vegetables towards your total protein intake counts for the day. And those amino acids do add up, but I don't think that we need to look at um whether or not it's I don't even know what you mean by synthesized or synthetic, like with like your amino acids that you might take in the gym, like essential amino acids, those are usually synthesized in a lab, but um I think what's the goal here? I feel like this might just be one of those things where like we're getting like so minuscule when the big picture probably has other things that are better use of our time. Like how hard we're training, if we're eating enough total calories, if we're taking in enough total protein. Those are things that I work with even with bodybuilding competitors, and we don't go that detailed to find out like the synthesized proteins. Or I just I'm not even really familiar. But moving on to TA or TA, how much protein should be in every meal for gaining weight? Ta, let me know how much you weigh and let me know how much you're eating per day right now in calories. Drop that in the chat. And we'll move on to Linda until we get that information. So, Linda, you struggle with fake meats like the daring chicken. It made you gastro for 2 days. You love the Guardian stuff. What about soy curls? I tried them once and they were okay. All right, so Linda, this is one of the things that we do as coaches is find the foods that work best for you. And so what typically I do with a client is I'll set them up with a meal plan. On that meal plan, we'll have several different sources of protein. We'll eat the same foods every day for a few days, and then we can weigh in and see how are those foods affecting us? Are we having any, like you said, like the gastro distress from a certain food or a certain meal? And then if it is from a certain food or a certain meal, then we can start to swap things in and out and use a little bit of trial and error to find what works well for you. Um, I would look into the daring chicken to see what the protein source is. Alex, do you remember off the top of your head? I think it's soy. I think daring is
I'm gonna
soy.
look into it. Yeah.
Yeah, give me an update there. Thank you. Um, it might just be, yeah, daring soy. Thank you, Miranda. It might just be that that specific type of soy bothers you. I've noticed that there's several different types of soy you can take in. So there's like the traditional soy like tofu, and that works for some people, but it doesn't work for others. There's some like TVP that works for some, but doesn't work for others. Even edamame doesn't work for some people, whereas tofu does. So it's a little bit different. Like how each food affects you. And I will say, after working with over 500 people, that you need to find what works for you. That can be your coach's job, but everyone is a little bit individual here, and what works for one person may or may not work for another. Um, so, all right. I'm going to come back to Sandra. I'm going to come to Ta right now. If any of you guys have any other questions, you can drop them in the chat. But you're 180 pounds, 6 foot, not monitoring your calories, trying to make sure you have a minimum of 30 grams of protein per meal, 3 solid meals a day, also 2 protein shakes with a no-cal or a Aloha bar. All right, great, Ta. You gave us some really solid info here, and you also gave us the area of most concern. If you were my client and you were trying to gain weight and you were concerned about protein, but you weren't tracking calories, I would tell you don't even worry about protein until you start tracking calories. Because in the hierarchy, like a pyramid almost, not the crappy food pyramid like in the United States, but in a pyramid, the most important thing to gaining weight or gaining muscle is going to be calories. The next most important will be the macronutrients. So the proteins, the carbs, and the fats in the order that they're in. The next most important will be the micronutrients. And then the next most important will be things like supplements. Now, that's on the nutritional side. That's not covering training or sleep or recovery or hormones. But if you don't have that calorie foundation, you could eat 400 grams of protein a day at your height. But if you don't have carbs and fats to support recovery and hormone production, doesn't even matter that you're eating all that protein. It won't be enough. You could do it. Eat 400 grams of protein shakes a day, and you still won't gain weight and you won't gain muscle. So that's what we want to do here. We're trying to spread as much information. I've been there myself. I thought if I just ate healthy and ate enough, whatever enough is, it's like, do you have enough money? Like, what's enough? Like, I want 100 million. Like, we need $100 million, not like pesos. Like, we need to get specific. And if you're not specific, you're going to miss out. And what sucks, what I feel like the pain that I like to heal for clients is people that feel like they're working really hard. It's like right now you're working really hard. You're trying to dig a ditch and you got a toothpick. And I want to either hand you a shovel or an excavator so that you can dig this ditch faster. If you're trying to build this muscle and you're not tracking the calories, you're just doing the most inefficient way possible. So it might sound difficult. It might sound hard. That's where our coaching comes in. If you need us to help build out a meal plan, happy to do that. But yeah, you're gonna need to focus on calories before that we focus on just the protein. All right, moving through. What do we got here? I know I missed one. All right.
Sandra with carbs give us energy, glycogen, and there are resistant carbs like in keto products that keep the calories lower. What do you think of those resistant carbs?
Yeah. All right. So carbs do give us energy. I think the keto diet is one of the foolishest diets out there. And like, not even coming from like an ethical perspective of like, we should be vegan for the animals, but like what works for performance. Humans run on carbs. It's like, I'm pretty sure you can take some high proof liquor and pour it in your gas tank and your car might still run for a bit. Humans are meant to run on carbs. Even if we're type 2 diabetic, we still run on carbs. However, we want to make sure we monitor our insulin and eat a well-balanced diet that also includes things like fibers and fats and proteins to slow down the digestion of those carbs. But every athlete you see that's at the top of their game, they're eating a lot of carbs because carbs allow you to train hard. And if you can train hard, you can build muscle. And if you can build muscle, you can stay leaner and you can be healthier. Keto products, I'll put it this way, if they fit your macros and they taste good and you enjoy them, go for it. But I would not follow a keto diet. And this isn't just me speaking out of my backside. I have tried vegan keto before. I have tried almost every diet that's vegan under the sun. I've tried raw diet, high fat, high protein. I've tried almost everything out there. And I'll just put it this way, there's nobody performing at the top of a sport using keto. So it's like, if it doesn't work for the best athletes in the world, why would you want it to work for you? The only thing about keto, the benefit is you basically eliminate carbs completely, which allows it to be somewhat easy to follow. Like it just really drastically cuts down what you can eat. It makes life a little bit easier for decision making, but outside of that, I don't see very many, if any, benefits to doing keto. Um, Michael, I think what I was missing was amino acids count as protein on the labels. Protein is measured, yes, by nitrogen content because amino acids contain nitrogen. It's a food with large amounts of amino acids. It would show the same as a protein analysis. Yes. So like on your in the United States, if you look at like your supplement label on like essential amino acids, it'll say 0 calories, but 10,000 milligrams or 10 grams of amino acids. Well, those 10 grams of amino acids are actually 10 grams of protein. And that 10 grams of protein will come with 40 total calories. Um, but I think this is getting into the weeds. We can go into this for just a moment, like amino acids and how that can play into your diet and if you need to worry about them. So, of course, we may or may not know this, but I'll go into it a bit. Animal proteins are considered complete proteins. They're taken from the muscle in the animals that have all the protein that you need to build muscle, whereas plants may have incomplete proteins, almost like you're trying to build a house and one plant has wood and nails and the other plant has roofing and flooring materials. Like you need all that to build a house, right? Well, our bodies are pretty darn efficient. If you get within 24 hours, it's almost like your nails and your cement arrived at noon, and then your roofing materials arrived at 4 p.m. Well, you can still build a house at 5. In this case, for the longest time, for almost 20 years now, I've heard, oh, you have to get your complete proteins. Oh, you need to make sure you mix beans with rice. Oh, if you eat seitan, it's going to be low in lysine. Like practical real world experience, I've helped bodybuilders, vegan bodybuilders, turn pro without ever tracking their amino acids or worrying about complete proteins. If you get enough daily protein as a vegan, even if it's not spread out, if you have beans for breakfast and rice for lunch, you will still perform just fine. It's never held back a single one of my athletes. I think it's one of the biggest myths out there to make veganism harder and scarier. And I think that people really just have no clue that this just doesn't matter. It really does not matter. I've gotten to me 275 pounds without tracking complete amino acids. I've helped athletes turn pro on stage at shows without tracking it. So I think it's just another one of those things. It's noise. It's noise. You don't need to listen to it. You'll be just fine. And like, if there was even like a 2% better point for doing it, I'd have all my athletes do it. Um, all right, moving forward here. We got some more good things in here. Um, what are great fats, Todd? So what I like to do, I typically say eat my fats unless you have a really hard problem getting in enough total fat sources. So for me, when I eat my fats, I think of things like avocados, nuts, seeds, nut butters, maybe like a cashew butter, things along those lines. I think as far as like ultimate health is concerned, avocados are great, flaxseed is great, chia seeds are great. Almonds have some good fats for us, walnuts as well. If you want some selenium, you could get Brazil nuts. Outside of that, if you're just really struggling, if you're a vegan that just has a ton of trouble putting on weight and you're trying to gain weight, then we can do things like oils. You could add olive oil to a salad or to a meal. Macadamia nut oil is another one used commonly by bodybuilders. So we have tons of options, but it's kind of just whatever fits into your macros, your taste buds, and your personal needs. Um, all right, Sandra, you're small and your calories are like 1,600. So you still eat regular carbs, but you could use those to balance calories. Um, yes, you could use the keto products to balance calories. What I want to hit a point on again. I'll just share with you guys everything that I've learned throughout this. And if you have any other questions that pop up, just drop them in the chat and I'll work through it. But the other thing is tracking your fiber. For a while, I used to track fiber and like subtract it, like the net carbs, subtract it from my carb count. What that did subconsciously, or like maybe even like slightly consciously, I gravitated towards all the high fiber foods. I'd get those tortillas that had like 15 grams of fiber and 19 total carbs. So I'm like, oh, I'm eating a tortilla with only 4 grams of carbs, and it would put my fiber through the roof. And then I started to notice athletes were doing that. I had one guy that was doing net carbs, and we had him down to like 50 carbs a day or 75 carbs a day. He was cutting really hard, but he was getting like 125 grams of fiber on top of that 75 grams of carbs and having all sorts of digestive distress. So what I recommend is you set your proteins, your fats, and your carbs, and you don't subtract the net carbs. You don't worry about that. That's in a big thing in a lot of those keto things because they're technically considered keto if they have like 12 carbs but 10 or 11 grams of fiber. And while it won't hurt you to eat that every now and again, if you're eating that all day long, if you if you try it, you'll be able to tell. You'll be able to tell if you have any digestive distress or not. Um, Micaiah, I hope I said that correctly. I would like to educate myself more on veganism and why it's so important. I say that because just learning about the meat industry has taught me so much, and I realize it goes much deeper than many people realize. So, do you have any resources you would recommend, books or movies? Um, I see, Alex, you replied. I think the community would be a great resource, Micah. Alex, if you can drop the link, if Micah can fill out the link, we can get him connected in the community. I'll get you in there so you can see what we have going on about our activism modules and the history of animal activism. I think, like, why is it so important? Man, I could go for the next hour just on that, but just to drop some stats, over 90 billion land animals are killed per year just for factory farming, just for fun, just for no reason. Not people are starving. It goes into the trillions once you include the oceans and the aquatic life. If we think about it now, there's people that literally die of starvation and hunger every year, but we find ways to feed these 90 billion animals. So first and foremost, I think it should be for the animals, but second, it impacts people. For those of you that want to learn a little bit more about activism and how to effectively communicate, it's important to ask someone how they would feel if they're in the position of the animal. If you were in the slaughterhouse, if you were in the position of the animal, how quickly would you want the world to go vegan? Additionally, especially in the United States, but I'm sure this is the case around the world, the majority of factory farms are staffed with people that are either illegal immigrants or people that are prisoners out on parole, and they are able to basically have their quote unquote freedom if they show up and slaughter animals. And so to me, it's like go to prison or slaughter animals. Neither one of those is really like a choice. And what happens to people that work in those industries, they have higher rates of suicide, higher rates of depression, higher rates of spousal and drug abuse. So from a human aspect, from an animal aspect, from an environmental aspect, from a health aspect, the faster the world can go vegan, the better. So those are just a few thoughts there. Keep them coming in the chat, guys. This is awesome. What do you think of the resistant carbs for lower calories would help you with macros? Um, Yep, we kind of just covered that. The net carbs. I would definitely avoid the net, like worrying so much about the net carbs, because then you're going to be just trying to sneak in more foods into your diet that are better on that net carb scale. So again, I would not focus on that, but I can give you guys some things. Is anybody like in a cut right now, like a caloric deficit that wants to make it a little bit easier? If that's something that would be useful, I can tell you guys a few different ways that you can work on keeping your hunger in check by selecting the right foods. Yeah, let me know what like you guys want me to focus on. I can dive into that for a second, but picking foods that are more nutrient dense and less calorie dense. Well, the super easy ones will be vegetables. So things like spinach, celery, cucumbers, those are all like bodybuilder secrets. Like you can eat a whole bag of spinach and get like 20 calories. It's or maybe a little bit more, but it's very, very filling. I love rice. Rice is awesome. It works really well in a bulk when you need to eat a lot of food. But if you're cutting and you're hungry, I would most definitely keep your carb sources to things that are more filling. Potatoes would be better. So like rice would probably be like the hardest thing to cut on if you were just eating rice. Potatoes are a lot better. And then we can even go to things like squash, zucchini, pumpkin, things along those lines that are going to be a little bit higher in fiber. But just like if you look at 100 calories of rice and 100 calories of squash, you get to eat so much more food. So if hunger is an issue, moving towards those water-filled, less processed, um, more calorically less dense or less calorically dense foods is going to make your life easier, even if you're eating a lower amount of calories. The other big thing that a lot of people miss is staying hydrated. If you're not tracking your water, at least carrying like I carry like a half-gallon jug with me, and I make sure I go through at least 2 to 3 full amounts of that a day. But I also drink coffee. We'll get into that in a moment. That makes life a lot easier. If you're really thirsty, you're going to feel hungry. So awesome work there. Game Changers, 100%. If you have not seen Game Changers, it's a great way to bring people into this, show them what we're doing. Sandra, you track fiber, but don't back out anything from counts. Perfect. That's exactly what I do. I track my fiber. Kind of like a rule of thumb is around 15 grams of fiber for every 1,000 calories. So I eat like 4,000 up to 5,000 calories a day when I'm in a bulk. So I can get my fiber 60 to 75 grams. But for you guys, you can kind of use that. If you're at 2,000 calories, maybe 30 grams of fiber. Also, some of it is person to person dependent. If you feel good eating more fiber, no bloating, no digestive issues, you can push it higher. But if not, you need to scale it back down for you. Ashley, you love salad because you can eat a lot of it. Yes, it's one of those foods like I feel like salad's awesome. It's almost like a great mouth experience because you get to just chomp away at this food. It's got water, it's crisp, it's refreshing, it's hydrating, but you can eat it for 30 minutes and still not really put on weight because you're barely eating any calories. You can go eat a whole bag of celery and it's not really gonna, give you a ton of calories, but it's gonna fill you up. Yeah, good mouth experience. I mean, that's really what it is, right? Like when we tell people to not eat animals, it's like you're not eating them for nutrition, you're eating them for a sensory experience. And we can get that sensory experience in other places. It's an interesting way to think about it. Linda, should we eat brown rice versus white? That my rice cooker just went off as I read that out loud. Great question. Great question. So younger me used to do brown rice all the time. I felt like brown rice has more fiber. I was back when I was pulling the carbs out that had the net fiber. So it has more fiber and it does have more nutrients. That's important to know. Brown rice does have a little bit more micronutrients. However, when we look at the total implications here, brown rice doesn't digest nearly as well for most people. I'm talking about most of the clients I've worked with, around, like I said, 500. Additionally, with brown rice, it is grown in soil that has arsenic, and rice has that like husk on the outside of it, and the husk is where that arsenic stays. So when we go ahead and eat white rice, we take that husk off. The arsenic content is less. So it's safer to eat more white rice than brown rice. If you eat rice every day, I definitely wouldn't do brown. If you love brown rice and you go out to eat and that's an option, sure, get it. If you love it, eat it. But I wouldn't eat it for 3 meals a day. I wouldn't eat it every day. Additionally, white rice digests so much better for people. And when we're looking at the people that are going to say, well, brown rice has more micronutrients, it's got more vitamins, more minerals, it's got to be healthier. Obviously, this is just me holding up my hand, so it's not really a whole lot to show, but I feel like white rice is like down here. It has like almost no vitamins or minerals. Brown rice is like this much higher up. If you're concerned about vitamins or minerals or potassium, go eat potatoes. Potatoes have way more. If you need potassium in your diet, potatoes, beans, pasta sauces, those are all phenomenal sources of potassium. Everybody thinks that you need to eat bananas for potassium, but if you do beans, if you do pasta sauce or tomatoes, or potatoes, those, if you guys have seen Lord of the Rings, potatoes, those are going to be great sources of potassium. Why do we need potassium? Potassium is one of the electrolytes that we need. We need sodium, potassium, calcium, magnesium, and there's a few others, but those are the ones I mainly focus on. If you don't get enough magnesium, you won't be able to get as good of a muscle contraction in the gym. You'll be more likely to cramp. I also find that my clients seem to really, really, really do well taking some magnesium glycinate before bed, anywhere from 2 to 4 hours out, as it helps promote relaxation and sleep. And so sleep is a huge one. That is, like, people come to me all the time. They're like, I want to build all this muscle. I want to lose all this fat. I'm like, okay, great. We can do that. We can do that. But they don't sleep. They don't drink enough water. They don't get these micronutrients or enough of the macronutrients, and it's basically like I want you guys to win the game, but it's like trying to play basketball, but you have no arms. Like it could be done. You could bounce the ball off your head. You might get lucky, but it's gonna be hard. I want to give you guys all the tools to succeed. Purple and red rice. I'm not sure. Somebody else might know better than me. If purple or red rice are actually rice, like black rice isn't actually rice. It's something. It's like a grass or something else. It's not exactly the same as rice. Quinoa can be good. I feel like quinoa and beans are like superfoods, great in small doses. I tell people eat beans, of course, but beans aren't a protein source. They're a fiber and a carb source. So same thing with quinoa. Quinoa is more of a carb source than protein. You count the proteins from these, but you don't build your entire meal around these. Nafis, how many calories should be consumed daily to help with muscle gains? Great question. So if you want me to customize this for you, drop some info in the chat. Maybe drop your age and your current weight, and I would be more than happy to give you some personalized recommendations. General rule of thumb is somewhere around 15 calories per pound of body weight. But then we want to take other things into consideration. We want to look at what is our daily expenditure? Like how much are we moving? How much are we lifting? Are we going to the gym 3 times a week, 7 times a week? Yes, thank you, Alex. I'll put it out verbally. If there's anybody that has questions, drop them in the chat, or if you guys want to hang out, you can come off the hidden screen. It doesn't just have to be me up here. You can come off. You can ask me any question. I'm more than happy to answer whatever you guys got going on. Otherwise, I'm just going to ramble until we get to the next speaker. I've got a lot of knowledge up here, but I want to make this custom. That's why I didn't put anything on the calendar. I wanted this to be built out in real time for you guys that took the time to show up. So whoever's working on something, come on off mute or write it in the chat so I can answer. But Nafis, I'd probably start for most people around 15, maybe 16 calories per pound of body weight, and usually about a 3/4 to like 0.75 to 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. Right? 40 years old, 170, working out 3 days a week. Okay, perfect. That's enough. We can work with that. We can use that to get you growing. So what this is going to look like this for you, for your client experience here, 170 pounds. We start there. We're going to multiply that by about, I'm going to say 15 calories. So you might need around 2,500 or so calories a day, 2,550. We might start there. That's great. So what you're going to want to do, you're going to want to get a food scale so that you can weigh your foods when you eat them and just track it and log it. Get something like MyFitnessPal, chronometer, build that out in there. And then what we're going to do from there is we're going to weigh ourselves on a home scale. You want to scale at your house. You want to wake up, you brush your teeth if you want, go to the bathroom and step on that scale. Either wear the same clothes each time. If you got like a nightgown, that's cool. Or you can be like me, just hop on naked and see what you weigh in at. Log that weight. Don't worry about any one weight. We'll log it for a week or two and we'll see where we're going. If we're flatlined and we're at 2,500 calories and we're flatlined, we need to bump the calories up. I would say maybe a 10% jump. Maybe add in another 200 calories, go to 2,700. And then you might see this. You might start trending up. If we're trending up at about 1 to 2 pounds a month, that's probably going to be perfect for you. If we're not flatlined, if we're trending down, then we need even more food. And if we're trending up really fast, we need somewhere less. That's what we do as coaches here is we help dial in your nutrition so that you know where you're going and you know how to get there and you're not doing too much or too little. Yolanda, do the meal plans help women going through menopause and high blood pressure? Great question. And then Courtney, I'll come back to you. Also a great question. Do the meal plans help with women going through menopause and high blood pressure? They can, of course. So looking at these things, we want to, as coaches, isolate variables. Because if you've got 15 different things running, if you're eating different foods every single day of the week, and I'm not saying that variety is not important, but if you're all over the place with your food, it makes it harder to dial in other things. As far as blood pressure, there's a lot that we can do here. I want you to write this down, Yolanda. I want you to get some hibiscus tea. We can make hibiscus tea. We can drink that 2 to 3 times a day. If you're like me and a little bit lazy, it might sound weird, but you can take a coffee maker, put the tea leaves at the top, and just run that thing, and then you pour that drink into whatever you drink all day long and sip on it. There's a little bit of like a bodybuilder trick to keep blood pressure in check, but it works for other people. Hibiscus tea works as well as prescription blood pressure medication. So that's something that we can start taking. Additionally, I'm going to need you to get some steps, get some cardio in. By training our heart, by doing that, by moving, we keep our blood pressure lower. Next, I want everybody to do this right now. Close your eyes, take a big deep breath. Just breathing can lower your blood pressure as well. And if those things don't work and your blood pressure is still high and you're working with a doctor, they should put you on prescription blood pressure medication. If you want to fill out the form and talk to me, I can tell you the ones that are going to work best for you. But we need to get that in check, and we need to get that in check ASAP for a very important reason. You guys ever heard of liver failure? People that drink too much, their livers get into liver failure. Well, livers, they can recover, they regenerate. Kidneys, we get what we got. Our options with kidneys are protect them or get a kidney transplant or die. So I don't really like the second two options. I'd rather protect them. And when blood pressure gets high, that is when kidneys are destroyed. So your kidneys are almost like that coffee filter. They're thin, they got this thin lining. And if water drips through them, totally okay. But if that blood pressure gets too high and we start hitting it with a high pressure hose, that thing's going to tear apart your coffee filter of kidneys. And they're not going to be able to do their job anymore. And so that's going to bring me to another myth, and then I'll get back to these questions. Has anybody here heard that if you eat a high amount of protein, that it's bad for your kidneys? I want to hear. Have you heard that? Yes or no? All right. Thank you, Ashley, for playing along. So high high animal protein. Ah, that's a good point. High protein, does it damage kidneys? No. Why do people think that though? A lot of doctors observed that their patients that had like renal failure, kidney failure, they observed that if they ate high protein, it made it even worse. And so if you get kidney failure, if you don't fix that blood pressure and your kidneys fail, your doctor is going to put you on a low protein diet. Because once your kidneys are damaged, they don't work, and the protein that you eat can become dangerous for you. But eating a high amount of protein does not alone damage your kidneys. So as long as you keep blood pressure in check, as long as you get blood work done, we're going to want to look at our creatinine levels and our EGFR levels. And we want to make sure we're hydrated before we get blood work done. We want to drink a lot of water. I'm talking 20, 30, 40 ounces. Have at least one clear urination before getting your blood pulled. That will give you the most accurate blood results. And then you'll be able to use that to diagnose, are my kidneys getting worse or not? And so high protein does not cause kidney failure. But if you already have kidney failure, then you're going to need to go on a low protein diet. So these are things that I've picked up over the years, looking into competitive bodybuilding and looking what other people do to take care of themselves. Um, so yeah, Miriam, yeah, thank you, Miriam, for being here. She said that it was mentioned that Wayne has been arrested for rescuing the beagles. We got people going around trying to save animals. There's still animal testing going on in the United States. If you guys didn't know, beagles are commonly used for cosmetics and other products to test how how their skin reacts to the things we put on our skin. So Gary Yourofsky and some other really amazing animal activists went to go liberate some of these beagles today, and it's been all over my social media. And I'm very grateful for people taking the time out of their day to go try and save some lives. And that's why what we do is so important, because being vegan isn't just for the animals we eat, it's for the animals we kill for their skin, for their fur, and it's for the animals that we test on. So being vegan encompasses a lot of good, a lot of power that we can have by speaking up and doing this. Miriam, you're at 125 and you want to go down to 115. Okay, great. Miriam, tell me exactly what you're doing right now. I see you said you got high cholesterol and you're pre-diabetic. Exercise can 100% help with those, and going on a plant-based diet and getting that lined up, that can actually prevent type 2 diabetes. So I want you to write to me. What are you tracking? What are you doing with your food? What numbers do you know right now? And if you don't know, you can put that you're not tracking, and we'll work that direction too. Ashley, how do you feel about antidepressants? Will they affect your hormones? Okay to be on them long term. Ashley, what I have learned on this is not any personal experience. So this is not coming directly from me, but I will say I grew up with my mom, and she is like the nicest person in the world right now. She has helped me do so many things, but for like the first 10 years of my life, she was a completely different human. And that was before she was medicated with some medicine that has actually worked really well for her. My brother also suffered from a lot of depression and a lot of like just always being in a really low mood. And he went through like it was like a 2 year journey trying 4 or 5 different antidepressants. And he finally found one that worked for him. And he is even keel and in the best mood of his life I've ever seen for the last 5 years. So I don't have personal use there, but I know if you're, at least from my family history and some of the clients that I've worked with, that if your mental outlook is off and like either hormonally or neurologically you're functioning different, it might be something that you're worth looking into. I would recommend like a good psychiatrist, like try to find somebody that seems to have a good track record that has happy patients and maybe try some of those options. Um, Assuming that you've tried all the other options first, like positive affirmations, practicing gratitude, listening to positive music, taking care of yourself, going to the gym, eating healthy foods, getting a good amount of sleep, taking the right supplements, doing all of that, and if that still hasn't given you the relief that you feel you deserve, then I would definitely consider trying some of those other options. Also, I'm not a doctor. These are just my own experiences. Um, Hibiscus, yeah, hibiscus tea is super, super good for blood pressure. It's almost like magic. It can drop it 10 to 15 points if you use it daily. And to the best of my knowledge, there's no negative or other downside to it. You guys keep these coming, keep these coming. Miriam, high cholesterol, even though you've been vegan since 2013 and pre-diabetic. Okay, so cholesterol, there's a few different things can affect that. Animal proteins, animal meats and skins and all that stuff, not good for us. But even as a vegan, we can have cholesterol issues. Ali was just working with one of our clients, and she was vegan for over a decade and still had high cholesterol. Some of her foods were more on the processed side. She did eat some fried foods, but by going into more of a whole foods, plant-based diet and exercising regularly, she was able to get her cholesterol back in line within 2 months. So it can be done. If you need help, Miriam, go ahead, fill out that form. I'll have Alex or somebody else drop it down below. That's something that we can help navigate through with you. There are also supplements that we can take that can raise our HDL, our good cholesterol, and help to lower our LDL, the bad, like considered bad cholesterol. Um, Courtney, you had asked a while ago, I think my favorite high protein food. I have a few of them. I love making cream of rice, and back to the rice thing. Rice digests really well. If you guys are in a bulk and you want to try something fun, check my YouTube channel or my cookbook. Cream of rice. It's you literally just take a blender, you blend rice, you put water in it, you microwave it, you add protein powder, and that maybe sounds weird, but then you add blueberries and some cinnamon and some salt, and some pancake syrup, and some nut butter, and it is like the best thing ever. You can ask my team. Almost everybody on my team eats it because they saw me eating it. I kept pushing it on them to try it, and then once they tried it, they loved it. Outside of that, I do really enjoy oatmeal. What I've got right now, because I'm a little bit lazy and this is super easy, rice cooker meals, like a rice cooker pot. And if you got an Instant Pot, that probably works too. But I'll take some rice. I'll take some say grace, which is basically like soy protein concentrate, like a kind of like a vegan mock meat, but you rehydrate it. Think like TVP or soy curls. I'll throw that in the rice cooker. I'll add a whole bunch of seasonings, so like a umami mix, garlic, soy sauce. I'll just pour some of that in there. And then I'll use the little steamer basket on top for the veggies. I'll run the thing. It's done in like 45 minutes. I just pour the veggies on top. I stir it all up with a spoon. I scoop out half of it. That's my fourth meal. And then I scoop out the other half. That's my fifth meal. Now it's less work to clean. It's really good. It's hot and ready both times. It's super easy. If you don't have a rice cooker, it's like $30. It will change your life, like literally change your life and save you time and save you from burning rice. For me, it just dinged. So after this call, I'm going to go eat. Um, yes, Linda, only when kidney disease is present. Ashley, I've heard creatine can damage kidneys as well. Yeah, there was like a whole big fuss. No, man, I started using creatine like pretty much within a year of working out. It's like 16 years ago. And like these wrestlers died while taking creatine. And everybody's like, oh my God, these kids, they're dying from taking creatine. Like, we got to get rid of this stuff. It's horrible. And I was like, oh no. I want my muscle gains. I'm not going to stop taking creatine. That's crazy. The kids are dying. And it's like they didn't release that the kids had been cutting water for 48 hours before, and they died while running with sweatsuits on a track in the sun. Like they died from dehydration. Were they taking creatine? Yeah, they could have been taking meth or literally anything else at the time. They could have been vegan or not. But like if you're dehydrated running in the sun, you might die from that too. So creatine. I've taken it every day for the last 16 years, 5 to 10 grams a day for the last 16 years, even as high as 275 pounds. And my kidney values come back great. None of my athletes have kidney value issues. As long as you hydrate and drink enough water, I've seen nothing wrong with taking creatine. Only the opposite. I think it's one of the supplements that is, I know this for a fact, it is the most studied performance supplement ever in human history. We've done more studies on creatine. So I would think what's cool about that is one, it works. For like 80 to 90% of people, it works. It'll add about 10% to your max output for strength training. So if you've got a 10 rep max of like 400 pounds, it's now your 11 rep max. Or if you could do 400 pounds, now you can do like 440 pounds within a week or two once the loading of the creatine happens. I recommend you just take about 3 grams for every 100 pounds of body weight per day. If you're a 100-pound woman, take 3 grams a day. 150-pound man, take 5 grams a day. 200-pound man, take 6 grams a day. Basically like that. Um, and it's now starting to show that it has like neural benefits as well, helping with cognition and helping to stave off like things like Alzheimer's and dementia. So another thing, like $30 will change your life. 3 months for like $30, it'll change your life. I highly recommend creatine. You don't need any of the special pills, just the creatine monohydrate powder. I like the Creapure version. It's a German creatine. You can get it on Amazon or elsewhere. Shout out to Veg Nutrition. I'm sponsored by them. If you want to support us, use code BodybuildingVegan and get the creatine they have there. But really, just a good creatine monohydrate. Don't really need anything else other than that. Um, thank you, Michael. How do I feel about GMO? Good question. How I feel may not be the truth. I'm happy to hear how you guys feel. Based on what I've read and I've seen, granted, this is my United States perspective. I don't know everything in the whole world, but I don't feel like GMO foods are necessarily bad for us, like as collective us's, but for the farmers that try to have non-GMO crops and then the GMO crops get spread over to their crops and then once it's on their lot, it's basically now owned by Monsanto or whoever owns the GMOs. I think that's extremely shady and deceptive business practices and basically people screwing other people over. So I don't really like GMOs. I haven't seen somebody that was like, oh my God, I had these health issues and then I went non-GMO and then I was fixed. I've never seen somebody say that. So those are the things that I've looked into. Miriam, coming back to you. You were just doing sit down exercises with weights, started at 150 and got down to 125 pounds, hoping to lose more down to like 115. I think it might help with my illness, not sure. Okay, yeah, for you, for the cholesterol, like I think staying active and taking the right supplements and eating the right foods, like foods that contain certain fibers, like oatmeal is a good one, will help keep that cholesterol level in check. And oh yeah, you eat fried food. I love fried food. It doesn't love me. I don't feel great the day after I eat fried food. I don't even feel great sometimes right after I eat fried food. I feel like if you want to get a heart attack as a vegan, go eat all the fried food that you can that's vegan. Why do your knees hurt really bad when you get on your knees and then sit on your heels? So I would want to see some form videos. That's one thing that we do as coaches. And I just want you guys to know if you've never had like an in-person or an online coach to review your training footage and you care about building muscle, that's almost guaranteed the spot you're missing out. Actually, put in the chat, have you guys ever sent your footage somewhere or had a trainer in person that knows their stuff? I'm not just saying like the regular Crunch member, like it's a high school kid that just went through their 30-minute program. Like, have you worked with somebody in person or online that knows their stuff? If not, thank you, Courtney. If not, you're really, 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 really missing out. It's horrible what I see in these gyms. Oh, Linda, then you broke up. Hey, congrats. You're on to better things now. I guarantee it. Every breakup makes you stronger. Every breakup puts you on the right track. Even if it doesn't feel like it right now or in the moment, the longer you get going, you get on the path going through a breakup. So you're going to be all right. You're going to be just fine. And we'll find somebody, myself, that can review some of your training footage for you. But I'll take you guys up on that. Anybody that's submits on the link, fills that out, feel free. I'll reach out. You can send me some training footage, because that is a huge area that people don't get. Like when I say let's do hard things, eating 5 meals a day, that's not really hard. It might be time management, but how hard is it to eat, chew, and swallow? I know 2-year-olds that can do that most of the time. Sometimes they spit up a little bit, but usually even 2-year-olds and under can eat, chew, and swallow food. But to go into the gym and put weight on your back or pick up weight and maintain good form and look like a machine where every rep is identical at the same tempo, and then do that until it's so hard that your body physically cannot do another rep and you fail. That's how we grow in the gym. That's how we build muscle. And if you have not had that work professionally critiqued, I can just about guarantee you are leaving so much on the table. Because I can write you a meal plan. I can tell you how much water and sleep to get. Those are all easy things. But training, that's what separates the average from the great, from the getting hurt, getting injured, not being effective, doing the wrong things at the wrong times, to being able to build muscle and do so safely and continue this on for the rest of your life. I really, really cannot state it enough. So yes, Linda, when you work with our one-on-one coaches, that is something that when I founded Vegan Squad and we created the Vegan Squad method, the things that had worked for the 500 plus clients I'd worked with, and when I talked with the other coaches and said, what's worked for you with your clients? Sending training footage. Every single person that's ever worked with me, I've asked them to send me training footage, and it's allowed me to see exactly what they're doing wrong and be able to help them. I mean, it's my goal to show up and offer something new every time. We start with things as small as how do your foot position, how does your hand position look? We look at things like where are your elbows in alignment? Even if your hand is correct, your elbow could be out. We look at things like your lower back, making sure that that's straight on almost every movement. We look at your tempo, how fast you're moving. We look at your range of motion, if you're getting the full range of motion. If you guys don't know this, the most important part for growing muscle is getting a stretch under tension. If you just be one of those guys that does these little like short partial ranges of motion, you're not going to build muscle. You need to get a full stretch and a contraction at the top, but a full stretch at the bottom. That stretch is more important than anything else. Most people, when they do bicep curls, they're moving through it. They're not getting a full stretch. They just think they're doing something fun. They're just putting some blood in their muscles, but they're not growing. So if you're not growing doing all that, it's almost guaranteed to be a combination of training and diet. But you can get the diet right on your own if you do it long enough. But the training, I feel like it's an art form. It's like trying to be good at the violin, but you've never had a coach or a trainer for it. Like some people can just pick up a violin, hear somebody else play it. My brother, he taught himself how to play guitar listening to his favorite songs. He just listen to the Red Hot Chili Peppers, and then he'd go out and he'd do that. I don't know how he does that. I'm not like that. The gym was not like that for me. I had to figure this stuff out slowly and painfully. So I try to make it less slow and less painful for y'all. Hear you, Miriam. We got some different options. I would love to even talk what a custom option would look like for you. We're not free because we worked too hard to get to where we're at, and we've put too much time and effort into this to be free. But we'll give back anything that we can. Maybe we could even do some live, like the next time that we do a summit, we can just have a training session where people can send in training footage. Do you eat mushrooms, shiitake, oyster, lion's mane? I do, usually when they're fried. At some of these vegan events I go to, they'll be like fried lion's mane, mushrooms or oyster mushrooms. But yeah, no, mushrooms are great. Put them in stir fry, put them in salads. Mushrooms are definitely, I would say, in that superfood category. Ashley has a great point here, Miriam. Even if you guys can't afford a coach, you can, and anybody that gets, you know how to find me. You send me one video, I'll review one video for free. For anybody watching the replay, I'm happy to do that. I've gone up to so many big guys in the gym and be like, hey, can you help me here? Let me give that back. I'm more than happy to. But as Ashley said, even if you don't send it to a coach, you can watch yourself. And so many times I'll go to make a video for a client, then I'll watch myself and I'll be like, I can't send them that. I need to do better here. Let me go back and refilm that, like not just throw the weight around and control things a little bit better. So having that perspective of even from the camera angle will really, really help. Continue dropping in the chat, guys. I can talk all day, but I want to talk about the things that you guys want to talk about. So Sandra, 66 years old, 5 foot 3.5 inches. Can't leave out that half. I know when I was 5 foot 11 inches, I was like, I needed that extra one to get up to 6 foot. Work out 6 days a week, 2.5 to 3 hours a day, 1,600 to 1,700 calories, 120 to 130 grams of protein, 225 carbs, 40 fats, about 60 fiber, 98 to 100 pounds, walk 10,000 plus steps per day, 7 days a week, looking to grow muscles without gaining fat. I would love to increase calories because now I love to eat. Yeah, I bet you love to eat 6 days a week at 3 hours a day. Holy crap. That's more than professional bodybuilders. That's a lot. I would say you're probably like me, like a little bit of a gym addict. You just love being in the gym. And that's okay. That's okay. But we might want to take those workouts, like those hard workouts, maybe drop that down to like 4 or 5 days a week. And here's my thing. If you're doing this right now and you're getting stronger every session, if we're tracking every rep, every set, every weight, and you're starting to trend up and you're starting to get a little bit stronger each week, we can keep doing that. But I just about promise you, eventually at 6 days a week, you are going to hit a wall that you won't. You'll start progressing and then you'll start going back down. And how do I know? Been there, done that. Watched hundreds of athletes do it over the years. I used to build out 6-day programs because people would come in and say, I want to work out 6 days a week, coach. And it's just, especially at 3 hours a day. I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you, Sandra. I've been a bodybuilder for 18 years, but there is more to life than spending 18 hours a week in the gym. We can probably get this more efficient for you. Maybe cut it down to 4 or 5 days a week, 1.5 to 2 hours. And still, by doing that, work with your hormones here and allow you to eat more food, get more from doing less. Because your body right now, I can almost guarantee your body is almost in a state of fight or flight a little bit here because it's so much output that your body's going to want to keep its reserves as high as possible and not burn so many calories. Like honestly, taking a slight step back would probably be a big step forward for you. As far as the macros here, I think we're doing pretty good. At your age, at your weight, I think the protein is probably pretty adequate here. When we do get into our 50s, 60s and above, I like to put the protein a little bit higher. As we get older, our digestive systems basically get tired and a little bit less efficient, and our ability to absorb protein drops off a little bit. So the easiest way to do that is just raise the protein. So when it drops off, it's still as high as everybody else. So a little bit higher protein is great. Carb amount looks great. Fat amount, dietary fat there. We might be able to push that higher, especially for women. Well, I mean, for women and men, getting in dietary fat is really important for hormone production. I would say for your body weight, that the 40 grams of fat might not be too little, but realistically, I think your ideal body weight at that height might be a little bit higher, based on what you want. So, yeah, I would love to talk more, Alex. If we can drop that link in there, we could maybe set up some time to talk, Sandra, and see what we could build out for you. But I think that dropping back just a little bit is going to help you out there. It'll help you do more. And I've done that in my own career. I used to train 6 days a week. I used to think that was what was needed to be a big bodybuilder. And I found that 3 to 4 days a week is probably ideal, but 3 just sounds too hard. So I like to be in the gym more. So I alternate between like 4 to 5 days a week. I usually go 2 days on and then I take a day off to rest and recover. That still allows me to make the most progress possible, I've found. So come on, people, send me more stuff. I know we got more. We definitely got more to cover here. I want to give you guys anything I can. Free questions to answer, whatever y'all need. Oh, coffee. I could get to that. So, things that you guys want to consider, definitely want to get in at least an ounce of fluid per pound of body weight per day. So if you're like me, 250 pounds, that's 250 plus ounces. That's like 2 gallons of water. But I do think that it's more than fair for people to go ahead and include things like teas, diet sodas, even energy drinks. As long as there's water in this and not alcohol, it counts towards that total daily hydration amount. So I do think there's a big argument to be made that we should all drink more water. But if you do drink some coffee, or this is like actually mostly decaf, it's like a third caffeinated, um, it still counts towards that daily hydration. Now, the areas that don't would be like liquor and alcoholic beer. If you're on a stranded island and you're like a deserted island, not the vegan one where there's a pig, but you're dying of starvation, and there's tea, there's coffee, there's energy drinks, there's beer, and there's liquor. I'd probably drink them in that order. I would drink the tea or the coffee. Um, I would even drink the energy drinks, just save myself from dehydration. But liquor, beer, alcohol, those dehydrate you. So as long as like if you want to include tea towards your total daily hydration, don't feel bad about it. Not something to stress about. Linda, do you have a system for keeping track? For example, I have a calendar page and I track steps, calories, protein, cardio sessions on it. Then I have a little bit of notebook for workouts in the gym. Perfect. Perfect. I used to do notebooks. I still got a whole like box in my closet from like back in 2011, 2008 when I got started. But I think for most people, what would be easiest would be to have like an app that kind of keeps track of this. So I use my Fitness Pal to track my food. I also track my body weight in there. I have a Fitbit that automatically tracks my steps, so that makes life pretty easy. I don't have to like look around in too many places. And then you can use something like the Heavy app or a spreadsheet to track your workouts. But whatever's best for you. A lot of coaches on our team, they use the Trainerize app because it puts it all in one place. Nafis, great question. Do you feel like dumbbells put size on faster? I think for that, it's very specific to what muscle group we're working. Like for example, for legs, like would a dumbbell squat put on muscle faster than a barbell squat or a hack squat machine or a Smith squat machine? I think it's where can you realistically, consistently make progress for the longest term without getting injured and without being limited. For myself, dumbbells usually don't go high enough in the gym for me to be able to use them for certain movements. So if that's the case with you, especially like if you're working at home, then you might only be able to go as high as those dumbbells can. But what you're going to need to do there is find out what's most effective for you. Things like squats, deadlifts, and bench press, like everybody's like those are the best muscle builders on the planet. The thing is, though, those are also like some of the hardest exercises to master. Like learning how to properly bench press, learning how to properly barbell squat, learning how to properly deadlift. It can take years, but you can learn how to do a machine bench press or a hack squat or don't even have to deadlift. There's other options for back. And you can figure those out relatively quickly, even as a beginner. So in my early days, yeah, I thought dumbbells and barbells were the way. That's what the hardcore people do. That's what the bodybuilders do. But what I realized as I got further into this, that if muscle building is the primary goal, it's what can we safely train at with a high degree of intensity. So that could be a Smith squat. That could be a hack squat. It could be a leg press. It could be something with dumbbells. It depends a little bit on you. Nafis, if you haven't worked with somebody that's taken a look at your training footage, that's going to be 99 times more important than whether you use dumbbells or a barbell or a machine. I can guarantee you that there. Your training intensity, your proximity to failure, your effectiveness of how you achieve each rep is going to be way, 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 way more important than whether you do dumbbells or barbells or machines. 100%. And then also, of course, things like diet, sleep, hormones, recovery. Ta, how are you eating before a workout or not when you train at 5:30 a.m.? Do I recommend any pre and post workout products? So if you're training at 5:30 a.m., unless you're getting up at something like 4 a.m. to eat breakfast, I would still put something in my stomach before training. Maybe something even like a banana on the way to the gym, something that digests really well. While you're training though at 5:30 in the morning, I'm going to recommend that you use something called an intra workout drink. So the way I build my intra workout drinks is I start with the most important thing first is carbohydrates. So something like Gatorade would be a great option. If you have all the money in the world to spend, you can use highly branched cyclic dextrin. That's what I usually put my competitors on. But it's very simple carb. We don't want like orange juice or something with fiber. We don't want too much fruit. Like we want a simple carb, something like Gatorade that's going to digest very quickly and not put any stress on your stomach while you're training. Next, I would add some electrolytes, or if nothing else, just some salt, like probably a gram of salt. If you don't have enough salt while you're training, you are going to be getting less effective muscle contractions and also be more likely to end up with a cramp or with a torn muscle. So, adding carbs to start for my female competitors, anywhere from like 15 to maybe 30 grams tops. For the men, anywhere from like 20 to 40, maybe 50 grams tops for the bigger guys. And you can start small and add more and see how you feel. I would definitely add a gram of salt for most women and maybe 2 grams of salt for bigger men. And then I would add, if you have extra budget for it, some EAAs. It's basically a protein source. It's just the amino acids straight that'll basically go into your bloodstream. They don't have to be digested. And it will work as a way to retain your muscle while you're basically training fasted. You're still getting a protein source. I would sip on that while you're training. I would add that to every single person's program here. If you guys sign up with me, I'll put it in your plan. I do that because I feel like it's extremely effective and it's worked really well for me and for a huge number of my clients. So if you don't like to eat before your workout, I would say that it really just depends on you and your personal preferences. I will say in my career and with the athletes I've worked with, we can lift harder if we have gotten 1 or 2 meals in before training. If your schedule in your gym does not, or your life just doesn't allow for you to get a meal in before training, then you got to do with what you got to work with. And if you tell me like I freaking hate to go to the gym eating before it, I would just about rather die or not go, then don't eat before the gym. But if you have the ability and building a lot of muscle is important to you, I would say when possible. Maybe it's just the weekends that you get to sleep in and eat a meal and then go. Like if that works for you, do it on the weekends and do it the other ways the other times. Linda, what do you think of Smith machine versus barbell squats? Are any types of shoes important for lifting? Great questions. Great questions. So, Smith machine squats make the movement easier. It's easier to do a Smith machine squat. So yes, you should probably use more weight. You can put more weight on a Smith machine squat than a barbell squat. It's easier to perform the movement. However, just because it's easier doesn't mean it's worse or better. It depends on what's right for you. If you're trying to be a competitor in powerlifting and you need to have a big barbell squat, then you need to have a big barbell squat. But if you're trying to build the most amount of muscle possible for your legs, the top bodybuilders aren't really barbell squatting it. They're using Smith machines. They're using hack squats. They're finding other machines that allow you to have a very high intensity and take that muscle safely to failure. I think in most cases, it's more safe to fail on a hack squat or a Smith machine squat than a barbell squat, unless you have the safety bar set up and you really know yourself. I mean, really, even too, like if you think about it, like a hack squat machine, if you've passed out for some reason, or God forbid, like tore your meniscus, you would still crash at the bottom, but you would land in a safe place. But if you're barbell squatting and you tore your meniscus mid-rep, where are you going to fall? Even if the safety bars catch the bar, like where are you going? Is your head going to hit something? People have died barbell squatting before. Just something to consider. If you don't like to eat before you work out, then that's on you. If that feels better for you. Like I don't really like to work out late at night, so I don't do it late at night. Can I? Have I? Yes. It's not my choice. I schedule my day to make sure I get the workout a little bit earlier. Luis, do you have any certified nutritionists on the squad? Also, have you heard about the Fast Fit Studios? What do you think about popping up? They seem to be so convenient. Can you please, Luis, tell me a little bit about what the Fast Fit Studios are? I'm not sure what that means. And then let's talk about certified nutritionists. Great question. So what does it mean to be certified? Well, when I started running the Vegan Squad Academy, or I'm sorry, the Vegans Who Lift Academy, we might have a Vegan Squad Academy one day, but when I was working to coach other coaches and get them certified through myself, I found out that to get certified, you can get anything certified. You just got to pay money. You just pay for a certification. Like you could literally just certify that this is a cool marker and get it certified with a seal of approval. Pay a few $100s. So certifications, in my eyes, don't really mean anything. Like it's great to have a certification. If you feel like you need that to learn and gain experience, great. But I would challenge just about any certified nutritionist out there in a field of vegan nutrition. Does that certified nutritionist go to a school to learn about nutrition and then find out anything along the lines of veganism and health related to a plant-based diet? I don't know. But then we also need to get back into these words and be really, really, really specific here. I can say I'm a nutritionist right now. Luis, you can say you're a nutritionist. Fareed, you're a nutritionist. Dustin, you're a nutritionist too. In the United States, anybody can walk up and say, I'm a nutritionist, because a nutritionist is not a regulated field in the United States. In the United States, we have registered dietitians. They must go to school for 4 years. They don't teach them anything about plant-based nutrition or plant-based diets. It's really a form of gatekeeping to just keep the number of registered dietitians a little bit lower. So I've been learning about veganism and plant-based diets for over 20 years. I've been a vegan bodybuilder for 18 years. I've studied more on this than most people that live on the earth, including the registered dietitians and the nutritionists. So to answer you in short, we don't have any certified nutritionists because I just want to pay for certifications, but anybody can raise their hand and say they're a nutritionist. It really depends on what you know. And a lot of these programs, I know people that have gone through, I forget the name of it, but there's like a plant-based nutrition program online, and you can pay a few $1,000s and get certified. And the people that I know that have done that are like, I already knew basically everything that was in there. It was nice to have it laid out in front of me, but you can find out all this information. Yes, the Colin Campbell program. Like the people that I've talked to have been through it, they're like, I already knew it all. It just wasn't laid out this way, but now I can copy and paste it and it's easy. As far as how long to wait before working out if you eat, person to person dependent. And I will share with you. Yeah, I think if you're like brand new and have never done any nutrition learning, or you just want to get your feet wet, the Colin Campbell program is probably a great program. But I would be curious to see how somebody that's like very experienced as a coach needs that or not. Anyways, coming back to eating before the gym. How long? It depends on what you're going to eat. I'm going to tell you guys what my favorite pre-workout meal is. I'm also going to tell you it's a little bit person to person dependent, and you should do what feels best for you. If a meal like an hour out from the gym feels good, I know Melissa on our team, she'll be eating like as we're walking out for the door for the gym. She's like, wait, I got 3 more bites. And then she'll go train 30 minutes later and feel just fine. If she doesn't eat close enough to the gym, she'll get a little bit lightheaded, maybe low blood sugar while she's at the gym and not feel her best. So it does depend on your feeling. If you eat a big meal with a lot of fats, you can probably get by on like 2 hours, 2.5 hours before the gym and be okay. If you're like me, I like a medium to large meal that digests really well. So what I do, like almost like religiously, I will have my cream of rice. I'll mix up my cream of rice. I'll usually add fruit, sometimes 2 fruits, either a banana and blueberries. I'll then add a little bit of fats. I'll add a fat source. So something like sun butter, almond butter, peanut butter. Those allow that food to digest a little bit slower. I'll add protein powder as well. So protein powder, cream of rice, some fruits, and some a fat source to slow the digestion down a little bit. And I'll eat that maybe 2 hours before training. I feel great in the gym. I usually am almost getting a little bit hungry by the time I get to my gym, but I have my intro workout. It's got a lot of carbs and the EAAs, and then that carries me through. But for you guys, if you wanted to do like a cream of rice or rice cakes, protein source, usually I do protein powder. It just seems to digest really well. I'm sure you could do tofu or anything else. That'd be fine. And then a small fat source just to slow down the digestion. Because if you just do carbs and protein, it'll digest fairly quickly, and then you'll be kind of running on empty by the time you get done training. Thank you, Courtney. Yeah, Courtney, I thought yep, thank you for being here. You were the one I was thinking of. Courtney is a certified personal trainer and a certified nutrition coach, and she didn't really learn a whole ton of new info. I think she probably already knew a lot of what they had. So if you're brand new to this and you want to learn info to find out, sounds like a great place to be. But if you've been doing this for a while, if you've been coaching for a while, you probably already know a lot of this stuff. Popping a few strawberries mid-workout. Yeah, high in fiber or high in water content with the strawberries, a little bit of carbs. Um, yeah, Dustin, we'll see you when you come back. Banana before, yeah, bananas before work great. Bananas digest really well. I think it's funny, like people will eat a lot of chicken wings, right? They'll eat like 20 chicken wings. Why don't we eat 20 bananas or however many bananas we need for our carb sources? Like we can definitely eat more fruits. I think people think like, oh, it's one banana, it's one apple, it's one orange. I can only have one, but you can definitely have more. There's nothing holding you back. There's no reason to not have 4 or 5 bananas at once, as long as it fits into your daily calories. Those of you that are trying to grow, yeah, go add like 5 bananas to your diet every day. If you're trying to grow, that'll make life easier. Miranda, typically train early when I'm not hungry. So rice, cakes, nut butter, edamame puffs, and agave. Ooh, with the coconut water while you're training. There you go. The coconut water is going to give you some carbs and it's going to give you some potassium. You want to take this to the next level? Add a little bit of salt to that or put some salt on those rice cakes. You're going to be getting great pumps. Ashley's just like me, cream of rice. Oh, Ty, yeah, cyclic dextrin product of choice. Thank you, Ashley or Alex, for dropping that in there. Um, I use the True Nutrition highly branched cyclic dextrin, but you can get yours wherever you want. I think there's some on Amazon as well. There's different products out there that have it, but it is a little bit expensive, but it digests really well. So you guys, to save money, you can try using Gatorade first. If Gatorade starts to bother your stomach, then go ahead and use the highly branched cyclic dextrin. Woo! I feel like I'm talking a lot. What else do we got here? What else do we got? You guys drop some stuff in the chat. Hey, if you guys are interested, we're gonna be in Orlando area for all of April. So if anybody wants to come out and meet the squad, I know that Ashley, Courtney, Alex, Allie, Melissa, Maya are all going to be hanging out with us in the house. But if you guys want to meet up sometime, let us know if you're in the area or could be in the area for the month of April. If you want to mark your calendars for anybody that can make it, April 25th, we're going to be in Orlando at the Vegan International Food Festival. Great place to get some vegan stuff. Oh, okay. Thank you, Nafis. When you're bulking, do you add stuff to your protein shakes to help you put on the muscle? Well, when I'm bulking, I'm still tracking. So I would make sure you're tracking. I would make sure you got some sort of meal plan or at least calorie target so that you know where you're at. But if what you're saying is, if you're saying that you're bulking and you're having a little bit of trouble gaining weight, and you want to add more to your protein shakes to help you add muscle, yes, I would add some easy digesting carbs. I would blend in either some bananas or some dates for the carbs, and then you could add in like some peanut butter or almond butter for the fats. You add that to every protein shake you make, your calories are going to go up. It's going to still digest well, and you're going to be able to gain weight. Yep, 100%. Sandra, 125 grams of potato, 50 grams of tomatoes, 30 grams of sauerkraut, 17 grams of lentils and salt with protein powder, creatine, moringa, and coffee 45 minutes to an hour before your workout. There you go. If that digests well for you and it hits well while you're training, and doesn't leave you too hungry or too full, sounds perfect. Creatine, you can take it anytime. I would take it whenever you remember. That would be great. And then coffee. Coffee is great before the gym. You can get a little bit of natural caffeine there. You can also use some pre-workouts or other forms of caffeine if that helps you train a little bit harder. What else, everybody? I think we got, can somebody update me on the schedule? I don't even remember. I didn't even know what time I was talking today. So hopefully somebody else is coming on soon. Thank you, Anna, with the heart. Yeah, somebody's got to do something. Give me some questions. What else you guys came here for a reason. Why did you come to the summit? What did you want? Let me know in the chat. Let me know what you guys wanted in the summit. Nafis, click that link. I want to get in touch with you, get in contact with you, see what we can do to help you bulk here. There you go. Tap that link with a smiley face. There we go. Come on, people. Why are you here? Why did you show up? You got vegan and it's the weekend, you got nothing better to do? Or did you come here for a reason? I want to see how we can help. I guess, Alex, we've answered every question in the world that any vegan could have. I want to know
I
your
think you
cooking
have.
style, what you get. Yeah, all right. I'll tell you a little bit about what we get, Linda. So, what we do in a nutshell is we help people get to where they want to be. For everyone, that's going to look a little bit different. Everybody has different hormones, different bodies, different genders, and so that does make the approach change from person to person. But realistically, the minimum that we do for everyone is we write out a custom training plan that is built just for them. It has the right number of days, right number of sets, number of reps. We also review your training footage and show you what you need to do to improve while you're in the gym. From a nutrition aspect, we lay everything out and tell you exactly what you need to eat from a meal plan. We can help you guys learn about macros so that you can transition to that one day. And those two things are huge and vitally important, but I think the biggest part of the coaching is the accountability. It's showing up for a check-in each week where we get to do a deep dive and see exactly how you're progressing, what areas are improving or not, and then how to change course to make sure that you are. I think that's the biggest difference with coaching with a coach versus trying to do it by yourself. Not a live check-in because we travel, you travel. I don't want your service to be interrupted. So realistically, we can work anywhere on the planet. Even if I go on vacation, I'm still working. I'm still showing up as your coach. And we just need photos and then a check-in form that's able to give us all the information about how your digestion, your sleep, your training outside of your training footage. I like to have a gratitude section built in as well so that we can learn more about how you're feeling. And then communication. We're big on communication. So we get back to all of our clients within 24 hours. And we have the Vegan Squad community where you're able to be connected with a couple hundred other like-hearted people so that you're not doing this alone. The holistic effect of this is basically you have somebody that is paid to be the person that makes you a better person for the world. All of our coaches have our own unique gifts. Those are the bare minimums, but I help my clients make business decisions. I help them make relationship decisions. It kind of depends on what they're willing to share with us. But I find that at least in my own personal journey, I've trusted my coaches a lot. I've trusted their guidance. Coming out of a breakup, that was the most useful time in the world for me to have a coach. It allowed me to keep my head on straight, allowed me to make good decisions for myself, even when I felt like maybe I shouldn't, maybe this isn't right for me, maybe I don't care about myself anymore. It forced me to show up because I had to check in. I had somebody that was holding me accountable. It allowed me to still grow and mature and progress during my own hardest point of my own life. So really, really, really valuable to keep you on track wherever you're going. I find too that a lot of people think that this is just like fitness coaching, like it's just to improve your health, but really like guys, if you don't have the body that you want, how are you going to have the life that you want? How are you going to have the confidence when you walk in the room when it's time to ask somebody out or to ask your wife on a date because it's been a while, or to work on a new project at work, or be around people that are achieving and excelling in life? If you show up and your business card is basically how you take care of yourself, if you don't have that, it's going to hold you back in all other aspects of life. I think that's what the biggest two reasons. Alex and I were talking about this last night. The biggest two reasons I've succeeded in my life have been because I've been vegan and because I take fitness seriously. And fitness can mean anything. It could mean basketball, it could mean football, it could mean going to the gym, it could mean like calisthenics. But if you have the vegan moral compass and you care about others and you care about animals and you care about kindness and helping out the planet, you're going to have this drive inside of you that no one else has. And then if you take care of yourself, if you have fitness, whatever that means for you, your physical and mental health, if you have those two things running in your corner, you can achieve literally anything. That's what I was telling Alex last night. It's like, I'm not gifted. I'm not smarter. I'm not a harder worker than anyone else. I'm lucky in the sense that I found veganism 20 years ago. And then about 2 years after that, I found my love, my passion in fitness, which was bodybuilding. Once I found those two things, it put me on a rocket ship to go anywhere I wanted. But that rocket ship didn't have a whole lot of guidance until I got a coach. And then it was like a rocket ship with a GPS built in. I could go anywhere I want. And that's why I'm sitting here in front of you guys right now. That's why I was able to fund and found the Vegan Squad coaching team. Why I've been able to find all these awesome coaches. I'm going to give myself some credit here. I've found every single one of you. I found Alex, I found Alexis, I found Maya, I found Ali, I found Melissa, I found David, I found Ashley, I found Ava, I found probably like 15 others that I'm not remembering their names right now, and I feel so bad that I'm not. There's so many of y'all that I've brought together, and it is simply because I've had veganism and fitness at the forefront, and I was wise enough to get a coach after I was stupid enough to not get a coach for my first show. And so I want you guys to all realize that this is not anything that I've done that anyone else can't. You can all be leaders. You should all want to be leaders. We need leaders. We need people to step up and make the world a better place. And if you haven't been coached yet, I think that's the best next step. And every single person that's on our team is someone that I've personally coached, whether it was through one-to-one coaching or through my like relationship with Ali, and then she needed a coach and I was going to refer her out to somebody else. And then I realized I'm going to have a problem with everything they do wrong. So she might as well work with me to make sure that things go right. I've worked with Alex, and then I've worked with everyone else on the team in another capacity, whether it's through the academy or through both. And so, yeah, I'm just trying to give back and show you guys that the resources are out there. You just got to believe in yourself enough to click that link and take the next step. That's literally it. It's that simple. You can change your life. And I think having that accountability of a coach to force you to do those hard things. I don't like to train abs. I don't like to public speak. I don't like to put myself out there, but having coaches to push me into the things that I'm good at or could be good at, that's what I wanted to do. Now I've ran my mouth, and you guys left some comments for me to reply to. That's awesome. Thank you. Anna, you came to learn more about the Vegan Squad, the community, the training, the social media building, and making new friends. Awesome. You've been traveling for work a lot lately, so you've been more isolated. Alexis can talk to you about that. Alexis travels the world. She's often the only vegan in the house, and she travels around to Australia, to Bali, back to Spain, like all these different places. And she, I think, could really, really relate to you, but also help you with that brand building, tell you what we got going on with the Vegan Squad. Really, these are the best people in the world. That's why I've handpicked every single one of them. There's not a single person on this team that I would not happily take a bullet for right now. It would be the easiest decision I've ever made in my life. They're all truly amazing people that give way, way, way more than they receive. They're all a bit underpaid because this is a startup and we're doing everything we can to bootstrap and get it off into the sky. So yeah, I think you guys are in the right place. All right, Miriam, let's get you to 200 and being healthy. World's oldest vegan. We'll get there. We'll do that. All right.
I just want to bring up the summit special onto the screen because we've updated it and we've added in so much more, and we've got a brand new one which I haven't told you about because I just literally updated it last night, my last night. Alrighty. Can everyone see my screen? First of all, I've just tuned in because it is very early here in Australia. How was John's talk? How'd you find it, everybody? I'm taking off my jacket. Oh, it's hot. Let me know in the comments. What was the what was the biggest thing that you took away from his talk? Hi, Miriam. Oh, that's amazing. Yes. John is so good with answering questions. He's like a fountain of knowledge.
Just like walking encyclopedia about
Yeah, he's a
literally
walking
everything.
encyclopedia, a huge walking encyclopedia. The knowledge base of the attendees. Yes. Yes. So what was the one thing that John said and you're just like, yes, like that really hits home for me. Yeah, absolutely. Being healthy is a lifestyle. It's not just, eating right and exercising. It is literally a way of living life, just like veganism, right? And this is something that we get to enjoy because yes, I know that it like John said, it takes accountability. It does take hard work, but when you're passionate about it, it's very, very easy to embody it, right? Like, I don't think anyone here thinks that being vegan is hard. When it gets lonely, yeah, that does suck. Or if you're in a restaurant, there's nothing to eat and you're with your family or friends, yes, that does suck. But I feel like I can speak for everyone here and drop a yes in the comments if you agree. There's no way in hell that you would have it any other way. You're here, you're committed. This is the same thing about having a healthy lifestyle. You're here and you're committed, but you're not just committed to the animals. It means that you're committed to yourself, right? It gets annoying, not difficult. Yes. I love how John answered questions. Absolutely. Okay. So I wanted to announce the very, very, very special summit specials that we've now incorporated. I had to really condense this slide, and I hope you all can read it. Please type, please give me a heart if you can read it on the screen, because there's so much more stuff that I just added in yesterday, and like I just had to get it all in. I can see hearts. Yes, amazing. Okay, so we are offering a very, very special summit specials, and today is the last day. Okay, it is the last day. We're not going to be offering it again. This isn't something that we typically normally do. We're all super, super busy, and but we wanted to do this as a special gift, as a special present to give back to you because genuinely we love you. You're our community. Why am I so emotional? I think that's because I caught the end of John's speech and I'm like, oh my God, I want to cry. And we just really wanted to give you something special that we know is absolutely going to change your life. So Alex is going to pop the link into the chat to apply to submit an application. Now, here's all the things that you get, and I'm going to go through them one by one. Please drop in the comments if you have any questions. I can't see both at the same time, but I will be jumping in and out. All right, so you get a one-on-one call with John. John doesn't do these calls, y'all. Like this is huge. So it's business mindset, or if you want to talk about training, etc. But it's a one-on-one session with him. Now, if you wanted a one-on-one, if you wanted to work one-on-one with him outside of this, like we're starting at minimum $1,000. So the fact that you get a one-on-one session with him, like just session, like this is incredible, right? Then you get a subconscious healing session or guided hypnosis or both to work on whatever blocks you have with Melissa. She honestly, as soon as I said the word Melissa, the word angel came into my head. She's got the most incredible energy, and she's someone where you just have to be around her or you just speak to her, and you honestly feel so much better. That woman is born to be a healer. Then we have a customized either yoga or hormonal healthcare plan with Ali. Incredible for women. Now, men, this is the other thing. If you're not a woman, that's all good because Ali can really 100% help you. She knows so much about fat loss, about stress, and a hormonal healthcare plan isn't just about women's hormones. It's about managing your stress level so that your body can actually change, so that you feel better, so that your nervous system's regulated. Because if your body doesn't feel safe to change, guess what? You can do all the things that you want, but you're not going to lose the fat, and you're not most definitely not going to gain the muscle in the way that you want to, even if you're doing all the training and eating things right. Then you get a brand audit strategy session with me, which I do not do. So this is a one-on-one coaching session. And this is where we go through building your brand, either face-to-face or online, building your business and really propelling you moving. I'm seeing in the comments, this is so good. And really propelling your life in making a bigger impact and living that dream lifestyle even further. Because as John said, I do travel the world. I'm a digital nomad. We all work online. But I decided a couple of years ago, I wanted to make it my mission to be able to chase the sun around the world. So that is exactly what I'm doing. All right. And then you get lifetime access to Vegan Squad community time. Yes, if you are in the Vegan Squad community. And this is honestly, this is a plethora of information. So you get group calls, live group calls with us, workout programs, vegan meal plans, meditations, yoga classes, and so much more. Like there is so much in there. It's not funny. We have an entire online course library filled with like vegan activism resources, activism courses, how to go vegan, like recipes, meal plans. There's so much in there. 6-week body shreds. Like there is so much information in there. And I think the biggest flex that we have is the actual community. John talked about being alone, and that's one of the reasons why we built the community. I've felt alone, especially my vegan journey, for so incredibly long. I don't feel alone anymore because I have the community. Like every time I want to every time I want to connect with someone, I'm in there, and honestly, it's the best feeling. It's so good. Everyone is so supportive. Drop some hearts or give me a yes if you're in the community and you feel that way. I know Miriam is. She's a very active member in there, and we all love her for it. Okay, then you get 3 additional months of one-on-one support and coaching added to your one-on-one coaching plan for free. Again, this is not something that we do. This is insane. So this is available for people that are new to working with us, as well as for people who are already working with us. So you can absolutely renew your plan. Then These are all the bonuses that we added on as of yesterday, right? So meal planning and a meal prep one-on-one session with Coach Courtney after Courtney's talk yesterday. I know that this is such an incredible, important topic. I know Dustin was talking about this yesterday and he was like, this is worth the whole summer special alone. Then you get a mindset and life coaching session with Coach Alex, which is like, Alex is honestly, I was thinking about this morning. I was like, he's like sunshine. John, would you agree? I feel like every time I talk to Alex, it's like sunshine.
There's a reason he's my best friend.
It's so incredibly nice. And then you also get John's personal vegan bodybuilder cookbook, bodybuilding vegan cookbook. This is the honestly, this is one of the cookbooks where most of the vegan squad coaches get their recipes from. So this is huge, and he doesn't offer this for free. And then you also get a vegan squad shirt. So you get your very own. Mine's a tank top because I don't really like to wear shirts. And yes, thank you. Oh, you're so welcome, Miriam. This is so nice. So you get your own vegan squad shirt that we are going to send to you. This is an insane amount of value. It is literally valued at over $6,000, all for free, just by submitting in your application. And after you submit your application, we're going to go through a qualification process because we don't work with everybody. We are selective because we want to make sure that we're a good fit, right? We want to make sure that we can actually help you smash your goals and that we're actually going to be a good emotional fit. So we're there to support you, and we literally love each other as clients and as coaches because that's where you get the best results, right? When your coach genuinely really freaking cares about you and you really love and respect your coach. Like, it is a two-way relationship. Coaches, give me some emojis if you totally agree. And if you have been coached before or you are currently being coached by us, this is such a special relationship. So you are literally the sum of the people, the five closest people around you. They don't have to be physically around you, right? Like, I'm so close with my vegan squad team. I speak to them every single day, and I always feel so connected with them. Like John said, he hasn't been around this many coaches or hasn't received this much coaching in his life because every single day we're speaking to each other and we're helping one another. And this is the community that you get to step into. So the other benefit, which isn't listed on the slide, but I will talk about it now, is when you're working with us, you're not just working with one of us. When you're in the community, you're not just speaking to one of us in the community. We're a team of about 20 coaches, and you get access to all of us in the way that if you're working one-on-one with Miranda, if Miranda is stuck with something or Miranda needs support, Miranda comes to all of us and we have weekly calls. So you have the support of the entire team, the entire collective. And that is honestly such an incredible flex because it's not just about one person helping you out and relying on their guidance and their expertise. No, you have a whole team rooting for you that actually want you to live your best life ever, to get your body transformation, but really importantly, to just feel really fucking good about yourself so that you can be the walking billboard for animals and for vegans worldwide. So when people look at you, they're like, oh my God, how do you do it? Alrighty, let me know in the comments. And Miranda is about to kick off now. So Alice is going to drop in the link in here. Okay, it is just here. I can see it. We cannot wait to speak with you. We had so many applications in yesterday, and we can't wait to see more and more. Can I get these bonuses if I am already signed up? Yes. So please, so Susan, that's a really, really good question. Susan, please fill in another application. Like, if you haven't already, please fill in an application form, and then we can chat to you about it.